game. This is for all the marbles. Finally got to say it today. And tight ball game there. Enemy won. One of these teams is going to be the co-ed Mush Ball National Champions. And we are going to be getting underway here. Both teams going with their identical lineups. And same deal with Enemy winning the coin toss and being the home team again. So this is like the 7th game of the World Series or the Stanley Cup. Anything can happen. So we're getting ready to start and just kind of waiting for Enemy to take the field here. And we're going to be underway very shortly. So you can see there they're taking the field. And we got a couple of fans that have enjoyed a few too many cocktails. So you can see the lineups are going to be identical. The fat kids will hit first. Alberto Chulo Magana, Taya Quinones, Santos Macho Soto, Nicole, Anthony Stacy, Amanda Uridales, Trey Johnson, Ariana Rivota, Scott Gates, and Izzy Molina. So it'll be the same lineup. And for Enemy, it'll be Charles Golden, Michelle Rodriguez, Johnny McIlvain, Angela Zedek, Travis Smith, Gabby Magnifico, Jason Camarillo, and Yaz Villagomez, followed by Kenny App, Aaron Stanton, Jazz Golden, and Joe Ellen Thiel. So we're going to be underway here very shortly, and we're just kind of waiting to see what's going to happen here. And I'm going to grab some water here as we got a slight delay, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, folks. Hopefully the sound came back with me. And we're going to be underway here as we got a slight delay. And we'll be underway here. So there was a little bit of a rule issue. I explained it during the last game because Trey Johnson got thrown out. And the Enemy players were questioning whether or not he had to sit another game. Of course, since we started the SSA, our rule has always been that the umpire will relay the information to the tournament director, in this case Francisco Arenas, and that they'll have a discussion and they will decide whether or not further punishment besides being thrown out of that given game is enough, or whether or not he should be suspended for another game or even tossed from the tournament. And after speaking with the umpire and Francisco Arenas, they came to the conclusion that Trey Johnson could, I believe, play in this ball game. And the Enemy guys wanted to see the rule. And that's what some of the discussion has been about here. So Francisco pulled out a copy of the rule book, and of course, if you ever read our tournament rules at any given game, a tournament we run, it's usually also included in those tournament rules. So if you wanted to scroll back and look at the major electronic packet, at the tournament rules, I believe that that's included, and that's every tournament. Because when we started, we understand that a lot of times people will get thrown out of games for various reasons. if you're threatening an umpire or you're doing something dangerous, obviously the penalty is more if you drop an F-bomb or two and then you don't cause a disturbance. We understand heat of the moment. So here we're underway, Chulo, little pop-up, and that'll be the first out of the ball game. And to be honest with you, the Fat Kids right now look like a team that's having a little bit of loss of confidence. Well, Jack, he got a strike called on him he didn't like. And there's a swing and a sinker and safe. Jazz Golden tried to sell it. He slid and the ball popped out. Couldn't tell from here if it actually hit the grass, but he's not really arguing it. So one out base runner, and it brings up Macho Soto. And I think it's important here, if you're a Fat Kid fan, that you need to kind of jump out ahead and try to play with a lead. And Trey tries to go big. That's going to be way, way, way out of play. So 2 strikes.
Ball don't lie.
Take him out.
So they're giving Trey a little grief here, some of the fans.
Terrible toss. Terrible toss. I don't give a fuck. Atta girl.
And I assume that was a non-alcoholic shot, Jello, just a little sugar to keep her going, right, boys? So here's Trey Johnson. So if you're the Fat Kids, you really do got to get your energy level up here a little bit. And the best way to do that is to score a few runs. And Trey, a little soft fly ball, and here comes Charles Golden, an easy double play. So Thalia took off on the swing. Can of corn fly ball, and that's how the first inning will end. So Fat Kids can't score, and that's actually, they told me that there was going to be no change, but they had Trey hitting in Soto's position, so I got to write that in on my scorecard. And we told you that Trey was having, or not Trey, Soto was having some issues with his hamstring. And Luke Lowry indeed is out in left field, and coming in to play shortstop for the injured Macho Soto is Trey Johnson. Of course, Trey plays a lot of shortstop for High Y and is a middle infielder by trade, so that's not a stretch. But on the flip side, Macho was having a great tournament and really pounding the ball. So here's Cha-Cha Golden, then Michelle Rodriguez and Johnny McIlvain. And there's a little ground ball, and that's going to be a base hit. And Cha-Cha, big aggressive turn. He has seen Scott Gates throw, didn't want to risk it. Leadoff man on. So Cha-Cha just kind of he's in the top 10 of the Chicago Summer Series that the SSA ran this year for batting average. And he does it in a variety of ways, and now they're really going to squeeze Michelle Rodriguez. And there's a line drive, and Nicole can't handle it. And that's going to put runners on first and second. So it almost looked like Nicole was thinking she was going to try to catch and maybe throw back across. And in the process, took her eye off the ball there. So here's Johnny McIlvain, enemy, trying to complete a double dip. And there's a little ground ball knocked down by Stacy. They'll get the fielder's choice for out number 1. And here's Angela Zedek. And You know, they backed up a little bit, but Luke Lowry, he didn't get the memo. He's really not that deep in left field. Let's see if Angela tries to airmail another one over him. And he was in left when she did it. So I think sometimes guys get a little arrogant, and she just hits that ball up the middle. Trey, he did get the fielder's choice. Michelle Rodriguez is going to be out at the plate. Unorthodox double play there. And Michelle's not happy. So crazy double play there. There's a ground ball up the middle. Trey Johnson just beat McIlvain to second for the fielder's choice. Threw it off the screen. It bounced right to the first baseman for the Fat Kids, who threw the ball home, and Michelle Rodriguez was out by 10 steps. So crazy beginning of the ball game, to say the least. Johnny McIlvain just threw a ball to first, and Travis Smith was walking by, and he had a short arm it at the last minute, or he might have pumped Travis right in the chest there. Swear to God, you would have thought it was midnight. Crazy things going on. And we're not quite at it. This game started about 30 minutes late. It was scheduled for 8:30. So leading off, it's going to be Nicole and Anthony Stacy, and then Amanda. And there's a little fly ball, easy play, as Jasper Golden puts that away, 1 out. So here's Stacy, and he hits a towering fly ball that's going to drift beyond the screen. Like I said, I think the Fat Kids need a little confidence injection. They rolled through undefeated and couldn't really get much going in the first championship game. And they got lucky in that first with the crazy double play to keep the game scoreless. And there's a ground ball as Stacy really reached for an outside pitch there. And it brings up Amanda. Her last couple of at-bats, she's kind of gotten into a little bit of a habit of trying to push the ball the other way. She's not really loading the hands and swinging through it. And there she pulled the hands in, but right at Angela Zedek, she flies out to center. So she barreled it up, but an awkward swing, and that'll be the 3rd out. And we're going to head to the bottom of the 2nd, still no score. So it's going to be Travis Smith, Gabby Magnifico, and Jason Camarillo.
Who's he trying to go after now? They're all just hammered over there. You're trying to go after Trey now?
So right now, both teams kind of moving at a very slow pace. It's been a long game. Some of these teams had to get here this morning at 8:30. And there's a hard ground ball up the middle. Oh, wicked hop. She stayed with it. But Travis Smith easily beats it out. So here comes Gabby Magnifico. And there's a little ground ball over to Trey Johnson. He goes the short way for the fielder's choice for the first out of the inning here, bottom of the second. Brings up Jason Camarillo. And Jason, a hard cut foul down the left field line. And that would have been trouble. And that's part of the difficulty. We only had 12 teams, so trying to do this tournament in one day, it always drags on. And co-ed a little different because they come and they camp out all day with tents and snacks and all kinds of things. So we do still got a few people out here, but it's getting late. And there's a ground ball and can't make the play. Looked like the short center was going to try to just glove it. She didn't have her throwing hand over there. So I got a feeling she was just going to shovel it right from the glove, but it leaked out of the top of that big glove, and now you got 2 runners on, 1 out. And it brings up Yaz Villagomez. No score in our ball game here. This is the if game for all the marbles. And there's a little spinner, and they're going to let it roll foul. So that will be strike 2. We've seen a lot of squibbers today by both men and women. And there's a little ground ball off of Stacy. Great job there to get the out. Amanda continuing to throw a lot of leather at second. She turned on the dime after the deflection and got the base runner by a half a step. So 2 outs, both runners do advance, and Kenny App in a situation where he can put the first runs of the game on the board here.
And that's fair.
Legal.
Listen, when it comes to these ones,
And that pitch is a little deep. And now a walk here as Anthony Stacy falls behind 3-1 would force a run in. Aaron Stanton on deck would get the automatic walk. And if you're Anthony Stacy, you really don't have a choice here. You got to throw a strike, and he does. Full count.
Hey, 2 outs, you're going, Johnny. Going, Gap.
Johnny McIlvain will be running on the swing. He's going to score on a base hit. And Kenny, hard ground ball, and it sneaks through. First 2 runs of the game are in. So Enemy takes a 2-0 lead. They played with the lead the entire first championship game, and they jump out here in the if game with the lead. And really the problem has not been the Enemy offense as much as it's been the lack of a Fat Kids offense, as they have just struggled to put anything up here so far in these first 2 games.
I've seen Karen do that, but
Trey Johnson calling timeout from shortstop. And I don't know what he might be telling Anthony Stacy. There's 2 outs. You just want to get the hitter. And Aaron's been doing that all day. Stacy, long throw, in time, good stretch as they get Aaron Stanton by a hair. And Aaron's been walking most of the day. So we head to the top of the third, 2-0. And it should be Luke Lowry.
I mean, I didn't say that, but okay.
Aaron, all the time with you, right? You always talk to you.
Ariana Riviota and Scott Gates. And really in co-ed, when you have a male player leading off, those are the innings where you really want to make sure you score, even though there are a lot of women that can get hits. That's a huge advantage when you can have a male player leading off. So it's going to be Luke Lowry, Ariana, and Scott Gates. And of course, we always talk about you want the bottom part of your lineup to chip in if they can. And Luke hitting 7th in this ball game. Grad strike 2. It's the one thing Kenny's done pretty well in these 2 ball games is he is throwing strikes. And he's not falling really behind. And there's a ball, and he just drives it past McIlvain. You can see Luke, a quick kid, too. He's another kid. He's still needs a little seasoning, but I think he's going to be a good one. Of course, he actually played a little bit with Los Borrachos. Steve Rodriguez bringing a lot of good players into the game, doing a good job. So here's Ariana with Scott Gates on deck. And there's a little roller. McIlvain didn't even look to second, just threw it across for out number 1. So here's Scott Gates. Last time up, hit a screamer into left field, which was, of course, the last game. So here's Gates looking to put the fat kids on the board. And there's a towering fly ball. Jazz goes back, makes the catch. Lowry digging hard, and he's going to try it, and he'll be out. So, bad decision, another crazy double play. Gates gave it a ride. I have a feeling they decided to take a chance with Izzy Molina coming up. But the reason why I don't like that, I can maybe understand it if you maybe don't have ultimate confidence in the next hitter, but the reason why I don't like it is Izzy will be leading off the next inning, and Jazz has got such a good arm, and he hit the cutoff man, and it was not even close. Be different if you're thinking, it could be close, but we'll take a chance. But I think that was just 100% pure risk. So it's going to be Jazz Golden, Joel and Thiel, and then the top of the lineup with Cha-Cha Golden. And there's a swing and a base hit there by Jazz as he strokes a single to lead off this bottom of the third.
Are you really saying that right now?
So right now, with the part of the lineup that Enemy has coming up and the leadoff man on,
Of all people, you're going to be the one who's batting.
they are probably thinking that
The guy that's
this would be a good spot to maybe take control of the ball game if they can get it going here. And Fat Kids in these two games, they've been playing with fire the entire time. Strike three. So Joel and Theo, Chris Harris thinks it was too high, but that pitch landed literally in the well. And of course, the shorter it lands, the higher it can go up to 12. And I think a lot of people don't realize just how tall 12 feet is. And so Charles tried to go a little harder, hit it too fat, ball carries all the way out to Luke Lowry. And that'll be out number 2. It brings up Michelle Rodriguez. So the Fat Kid's trying to wiggle off here and get to the top of the 4th, only down 2. And Michelle, ground ball, Trey Johnson, long throw in time for the 3rd out. So we're going to head to the top of the 4th, 2-0. Fat Kids really were approaching the halfway point of the ball game. They really need to put something up here. Still a coin flip of a game. And the only question now is whether or not they still believe. So it's going to be Izzy Molina and then the top of the Fat Kid lineup. So if you're Kenny here, you want to just keep doing what you're doing on the hill and pitch a little heavy for ball 2. Grabs a strike there. So Izzy Molina takes ball 3. So if you're Kenny, you don't want to fool around here. And he walks Izzy Molina. So she coaxed it out of him. And now we're at the top of the lineup here with Alberto Chulo Magana. And that's why when you take that risk like they did at to end the 3rd, you never know what's going to go on. Let's say she walked in the 3rd, you might have been looking at a different score. And I think if you're Chulo, you want to get a good pitch to hit. He kind of expanded his own strike zone the last time he was up. Full count. And again, if you don't want to walk a guy, and he tries to go big on his horse, Jazz Golden, running into the darkness. Where's Izzy going? She's got to get back, and long throw across, not in time. Now the ball gets away. See Brandon Molina telling her to stay. So Izzy lost track. And Brandon, I would assume he's related to Izzy. He's trying to tell her, you were the leadoff hitter. Because she said she thought there were 2 outs, I think. So there's a swing and a foul ball now by Thalia with Trey Johnson on deck. And right now, I think some of the Fat Kid male players aren't producing at a level that you need. Now, Travis Smith tried to do a pirouette, and she's going to try to go to second. And the Fat Kids just running themselves out of innings with Trey Johnson coming up next. There was no reason to take that big turn. And halfway through, 2-0.
You're getting a little ahead of yourself.
So we're seeing some very shaky base running in this ball game. And as a result, we got a 2-0 score. So leading off is going to be Travis Smith, Gabby Magnifico, and then Jason Kemmer. Oh, I take it back. Johnny McIlvain is leading off. Then Angela Zedek and Travis Smith. So this is a good part of the enemy lineup. They got 3, 4, 5 coming up. As we are halfway through here, and a couple of runs here could be insurmountable the way the Fat Kids have been swinging the bat so far. And McIlvain sweeps a single into center field to lead off with a base hit. Here comes Angela Zedek. So good start for enemy here. As they're trying to extend out here.
That's a place.
And there's a little ground ball to short. Johnson bobbles it through to first.
I got it. Good call.
And they just get Angela by a half a click there.
Double take, Chow.
It brings up Travis Smith. McIlvain did get to second. I think Trey wanted to go to second, but he bobbled it. And he's trying to push the outfield back. And there's a hard chopper, and it goes off Anthony Stacy. Everybody's going to be safe. Runners on the corner now for Gabby Magnifico. And that went off Anthony Stacy's right hand, and he's shaking it. Might have closed those fingers a little bit and ended up catching it on the tip. I think he's flexing his thumb. And with Macho Soto hurt already, and I don't know who would come in to pitch for him, but they do have Noach over there, and they do have Brandon over there, Molina. I'm not sure. I know Brandon, toward the end of the year, got hurt, so I'm not sure what his health status is. And there's a high pop-up, and that'll be out number 2. And it brings up Jason Camarillo. So the Fat Kids here looking for a big out to keep the score 2-0. As we're in the bottom of the 4th. That ball landed on the plate there. And Jason up the middle, base hit, another run scores. Travis is going to go to third, and now Jason sees the throw, and he's just going to go ahead and go. Now they got Travis hung up, and everybody's going to be safe here. So a little chaos run didn't score. They did not handle the rundown very well with Travis. Anthony Stacy threw the ball to third and tried to get himself into a position to go cover home. Throw went to the catcher, and Izzy Molina didn't handle it cleanly, and that allowed Travis to get to third. Good job by Cha-Cha not to run him off a base. And there's a ground ball up the middle, knocked down by the short center. A run's going to score. 2 runs are going to score, 4-0. So Yaz Villagomez hit it up the middle. The short center got a glove on it. 1 run scored. And then the Fat Kid's a little slow recognition-wise. And right now, the Fat Kid's just mentally and energy-wise, at this point, they seem to be struggling on all fronts. Kenny Apnow with 2 outs and a runner on first. And there's a pickoff play.
They were going to play, but they went through.
Again, there's no stealing. We saw an interesting pickoff in a tournament game. And there's a line drive. Stacy, self-defense, got his hands up. And I got the wrong score. Apparently it's 5-0 according to the scoreboard, so we'll change it. I missed a run there. So we head to the top of the 5th. And it was pretty good. The short center, the runner on second, rotated and cut in front of the base runner. So off of the base runner's right shoulder as he's looking in at home plate, he kind of stepped in front and rotated, and the runner just naturally took a step toward third, and the pitcher threw basically a no-look throw to second, and it was right on the bag, and they picked the guy off. It was one of the best pickoffs I've seen in a long time. Kind of using that natural instinct of a runner trying to peek in at home. So it's getting late here down a Finn. Fat Kids need to get rolling. It's going to be Trey Johnson, Nicole, and Anthony Stacy. And Trey swings right through it for strike 2. And we see this a lot too. The teams that a lot of times come out of the losers bracket, they're playing do or die every game for 3 or 4 games in a row. And they tend McIlvain. Little hard line drive there by Trey, but right at the shortstop. Brings up Nicole. And so they get into these championships and they'll double dip a team, and once a team sometimes loses that first championship game, they don't seem to get back on track. And there's a high fly ball, Jasper Golden right there for out number 2, and it brings up Anthony Stacy. And Stacy swings, and he called that a foul tip. Anthony had to be careful there. He was very close to being out of the batter's box and getting hit by that ball in fair territory. Umpire felt he was still in the batter's box, so just called it a foul ball. And Anthony guides a hit in front of Cha-Cha, 2-out base runner, brings up Amanda.
Say something tomorrow. Say something. This is why Coach Brandon is the best.
Let it ponder.
Again, the story is really the lack of offense these 2 games by the Fat Kids.
I wanted you guys to win. I wanted you guys. You guys had a good draw.
They just have not been able to consistently put any true threats together, and then on occasion when they do, they've had a couple of base running issues. And there she swings and guides it, base hit. So Amanda keeps the inning going for Luke Lowry. And if you're a Fat Kid fan, you're hoping for the big fly here to get yourself back into the game. And that's what Kenny's been doing. He's been, especially with the male players, he's jumping up on them and putting them in a position where they got 2 strikes. And Luke grounds it right to Travis. He'll go to short way. So we're going to head to the bottom of the 5th, 5-0. Enemy in control here. And I'm thinking here, maybe a couple of runs here might be the knockout punch. If you are enemy. So leading off, it's going to be Aaron Stanton, Jazz Golden, and then Joe Ellen Thiel. Bottom of the 5th here. And there's a strike. And Aaron hits it right to Nicole. Long throw, long bounce. And Aaron Stanton's on base. So all kinds of time. Nicole spikes the throw. And it brings up Jasper Golden. And Jazz, a little ground ball to short center over to Johnson. He tried to throw it left-handed. Not in time, but they do get the fielder's choice for the first out of the inning. And here's Joe Ellen Thiel with Charles Golden on deck. And there's a ball knocked down. They'll go to short way, and they get the out at second. See, Jazz didn't slide, but he pulled up. He didn't want to run over to short center.
Jazz!
And they just got him by a whisker. So 2 outs. And here comes Cha-Cha. So we're getting to the point now, and that's going to be out of play. Where if you're enemy now, you're starting to taste it a little bit. And their job when they go back out onto the field is just make that easy play, make that routine play, and just start taking outs off the board. Because the Fat Kids right now haven't really shown you that they're going to generate much offense, so you don't want to help them out by trying to do something crazy. If you're Kenny App, you got to keep doing what you're doing, which is getting ahead, not walking anybody, and making them get hits to get on. Your defense has been playing well behind you. And there's a little ground ball in the short center. And again, that was a routine play. It looked like she wanted to step and throw, but didn't catch the ball. Joel and Theo hustling all the way, slid in. It brings up Michelle Rodriguez. So with 2 outs, 2 on, Fat Kids lead by 5, looking for a little bit more. And Michelle rakes it to Nicole, and she'll just walk over and touch the bag. We head to the top of the 6th. All enemy at 5-0. So again, we'll be out at Hamlin Park tomorrow for the Los Barachos Neighborhoods United. So we'll be doing some live streaming from there. And should be a fun tournament.
I can't.
Steve Rodriguez asked me what I wanted to drink, if he was going to get me some Coke Zero or Diet Coke. We settled on Diet Dr. Pepper. So we'll be plenty hydrated tomorrow. So here come the Fat Kids trying to get something rolling here with Ariana, Scott Gates, and Izzy Molina. And there's a high pop-up coming in as Jazz. He makes the play for out number 1. Oh, I'm sorry, that was Izzy. And here comes Alberto, and I think that's wrong. Yeah, I thought Scott Gates was up, and he is. Chulo trying to sneak an at-bat in there. So 1 out, nobody on here, top of the 6th. Fat Kids down to their last 5, towering fly ball. Jazz stayed with it, 2 outs. And now here comes Izzy Molina. Enemy 4 outs away from a national championship. Doing it the hard way, having to double dip. That pitch is outside. And for the first time in the game here, Kenny App is actually falling behind on a hitter. And there's a strike, full count. And there's a walk, and it brings up Chulo. And the reason why that hurts is, should Chulo pound the gap here, you'd still be up 3, but you might get the Fat Kids out of this little bit of a funk that they're in. And Chulo hits it hard through the hole. Izzy will stop at second. And it brings up Thalia Quiones with Travis Johnson on deck. Again, I think if you're the Fat Kids, we're in the 6. You need to break this seal. And there's a sky-high pop-up near the screen and caught very nicely over there by, I believe that's Gabby. Magnifico. So she got all the way to the screen, reached a little bit over it. They got a short one. As you can see, it's lower than the dugout screen, and she reached over that short fence and made the catch. And there you see we got looks like an Alaskan Husky over here. A young one. But just kind of walking around, probably wishing it was off the leash. So we head to the bottom of the sixth. Enemy now 3 outs away from a national championship, leading 5-0. So Johnny McIlvain, Angela Zedek, and Travis Smith. 3, 4, 5 coming up here. And 5 right now, the way the Fat Kid offense is going, seems insurmountable, but crazy things happen.
You're like 4 feet away.
Yeah, this damn cool weather. My sinus has been running all day today. No doubt about that. So here's McIlvain on the reset. And he lifts it out towards center. Gates, an easy basket catch for out number 1. And it brings up Angela Zedek. Angela's been playing a very good outfield and hitting the ball very well. You can tell she played Big Ten college softball and hits that ball pretty good, but Gates is there. It brings up Travis Smith. So we'll get some pictures after the tournament. And there's a wicked line drive by Smith for a base hit with 2 outs. And it brings up Gabby Magnifico. And right now it's pretty interesting because both teams are almost like it's a done deal that the Fat Kids are going to win. And she drove it, but Luke Lowry got back. So do or die, last chance here, national championship on the line. Trailing by 5. We'll see what the Fat Kids got in the top of the 7th. 5 to extend the game, 6 to take a lead. Anything less, an enemy will be your 2024 SSA co-ed 14-inch mush ball national champion. Say that 10 times.
Oh, you can't. Black?
So it's going to be Trey Johnson, Nicole, Anthony Stacy, 3, 4, 5. Right now, if you're the Fat Kids, you can't worry about moving runners or anything else. You want to throw your best ball out there. And the object here is to stack hits until you become dangerous by hopefully at least getting the tying run up in the box. Johnson, a little roller. McIlvain, long throw. Leadoff man on. So enemy's defense been pretty good all game. Trey just slapped it the other way. McIlvain rushed himself and threw it away. And that's going to bring Nicole up. Anthony Stacy on deck, so need a few more of those if you're the Fat Kids hoping to come back and get back into this here,
It's hard, man.
as they need a crooked number.
I know, I get it. It's hard to remember everybody's names. I was playing one of my Indiana teams, me and West Parkville.
And there's a ball, 3-1. So if you're Kenny App, you got to stay the course here. Does grab a strike, full count.
And then off of that.
And I think a lot of times guys look at, and there's a sky-high fly ball, Cha-Cha's there for out number 1, enemy 2 outs away from a national championship.
I'm also, yes. I'm 5'9". That pitcher has no fucking knees. Like, I don't.
Brings up Anthony Stacy. And Anthony swings through it. Michelle, Trey got back.
He was dead if she'd have caught that ball, bro.
Michelle bobbled the ball, and a couple of the fans giving Trey the business. Stacy throws a base hit. Trey will get to third. They'll just throw it into second. His run doesn't mean anything. And it brings up Amanda. Singled her last time up. So a couple of more hits here, and Fat Kids could potentially get the tie in the box. They do have an out here, and again, if you're the enemy squad, you'll trade a run for an out. And there's a sky-high pop-up. That'll be the second out. And now the ball gets away. Trey Johnson will score. Stacy will go to third. So the Fat Kids will avoid the shutout. But they're also down to their last out here with Luke Lowry. And even if Luke launches one, you'd still have a 2-run lead here. And that's all you can do is stack hits and put it on the next hitter. And Luke goes up, and this will do it. Enemy wins the SSA 2024 Co-Ed 14-inch Mush Ball National Championship. Angela Zedek catches the fly ball. They come back out of the loser's bracket. They double-dipped the Fat Kids, who just couldn't generate any offense in these 2 championship games. And we will be taking pictures and have the trophy presentation coming up. And we're going to try to direct a little traffic. And we'll get the Fat Kids over by home plate. Anthony, can we get you guys by home plate? So we'll do a little, like I said, don't go anywhere, enemy. We got trophies and stuff to give. But we're going to do them first, all right? Come on, man. Jazz is the best dancer on your team. Right, Jazz? There you go.
They got me for my move. They got me for my move.
So Jazz is saying they got me for my moves. So we'll be taking the pictures here, and we're going to get those online. And kind of a little different prize package. So Steve will be taking the pictures.
Hey, Johnny.
So it's always a little chaotic. The winners get national championship T-shirts. And we're going to try to get everybody. Come on, Steve-O, direct these guys. Let's get them set up. Okay, slide over. Everybody slide over. So, taking the pictures, you see Steve is taking them. That's your second place Fat Kid team. So they had fun. They came and they finished second. Good run. Let's see if we can't get pictures of those pretty national championship shirts. So you see Charles Golden wearing one. So there you can see they all got the co-ed mushball national championship shirts. And from our days of doing the bowling and everything else and golf, we've got some complimentary bottles of wine and stuff to give away to the teams, I believe. So you can see they're lining up for their. And again,
it's so long, bro. It's so long.
So we got a couple of teams a little slow on how to do the championship stuff. And you can see they're holding up the shirts in front of our banner. Nice stuff. And we'll come over here to Francisco and we'll find out who the MVP is going to be. So we're going to find out who the MVP is. We'll have the pictures up in a bit.
After 14 hours of co-ed mush ball, Trav.
Hey.
Way to ball. Way to come back.
Thank you.
You are this year's
Thank
MVP,
you.
national championship.
Thank you.
So how's it feel, Trav?
I feel wonderful, man, to put enemy back on top. I read all the comments. They had us fourth. They wondered what we was going to do. We came out here, and we showed we was going to do it, and we won it.
We bounced back.
Nice. So that's Travis.
Gotta give it up, Trav.
Co-ed mushball MVP, Chris Harris, manager, proprietor of the ball club. So they came out of the losers bracket. They did a great job. Lost their first game. They had a long day, but it paid off in the end, and they win. So we're going to wrap it up, folks. We hope you enjoyed the coverage. We will be live at Hamlin Park tomorrow.